Good to go.
Emona Sachiranandana Vinay, page 70, by Sri Pramananda Das Thakur. Emon Sachiranandana Vinay, Sachiranandana Vinay. Emon Sachiranandana Emon Sachiranandana Prema bolina mati ayadbhuta Shuta hoito karakane Emon Sachiranandana Bine Emon Sachiranandana Bine Shri Krishna namero svaguna mahima ke bhajanai to ara Vrindavan Mahamadhurima pravesha hoyi to kara Pravesha hoitokarayaman Sachiranandana Bineman Sachiranandana Bine Kevo janai to Radha-Damodara Rasa jasha jaman karo Kevo janai to Radha-Damodara Rasa jasha jaman karo Tarayano bhav Satvika vikar Tarayano bhav Satvika vikar Gochara chilo vakara Gochara chilo vakara Eman Sachiranandana Bine Sachiranandana Bine Braj je bilas rasa maharas Prema parakiya tatpar Gopira mahima vyabhichari sima Karaya vagati chilo eta Karaya vagati chilo eta Emon Sachiranandana Bine Emon Sachiranandana Bine Dhanya Kali Dhanya Nitai Chaitanya Parama Karuna Kari Dhanya Kali Dhanya Nitai Chaitanya Parama Karuna Kari Vidya Gochara Je Prema Vikar Vidya Gochara Je Prema Vikar Prakashi Jagata Bhori Prakashi Jagata Bhori Mon Sachiranandana Bine Mon Sachiranandana Vine Utamaya Dhama Kichu Navachilo Gaura Nitai hai Utamaya Dhama Kichu Navachilo Jachia Dileka Kola Kohe Premananda Emona Gaurange Kohe Premananda Emona Gaurange Antare Dhoriya Dola Antare Dhoriya Dola Emon Sachiranandana Bine Mon Sachiranandana Bine Mon Sachiranandana Bine Mon Sachiranandana Bine Prema bolina ati ayadbhuta Shruta hoito karakane Prema bolina ati ayadbhuta Shruta hoito karakane Jaya Sachinandan Jaya Gaura Hari Sachinandan Jaya Gaura Hari Jaya Sachinandan Jaya Gaura Hari Nadia Bihari Jaya Gaura Hari Jaya Nadia Bihari Jaya Gaura Hari Sankirtan Bihari Jaya Gaura Hari Jaya Nadia Bihari Jaya Gaura Hari Sankirtan Bihari Jaya Gaura Hari Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Gaur Premanande. Thank you.
Vaikhanas Maharaj or Trinity Maharaj, Jaitwani.
That was beautiful. That was so beautiful, Kirtan. So beautiful. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Oh, Vaikhanas Maharaj, go for it.
Jai Jai Shri Shri Guru Gauranga Gandharvika Girid Hari Shri Shri Radha-Damodara Shri Shri Radha Vinod Bihari Shri Shri Radha Radha-Raman Shri Shri Madan Mohan Radha Madan Mohan Radha Gopinath Radha Govinda Jukki Jai Jai Nityalila Bhavishta Om Vishnupad Asta Tarsat Sri Simad Abhaya Charnaravinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Jai Nityalita Bhavishta Om Vishnupad Asta Tarsat Sri Simad Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Jai Nityalita Bhavishta Om Vishnupad Asta Tarsat Sri Simad Bhakti Vedanta Chivikram Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Jai Nityalita Bhavishta Om Vishnupad Asta Tarsat Sri Simad Bhakti Vedanta Vama Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Jai Nityalita Bhavishta Om Vishnupad Asta Tarsat Sri Simad Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Jai Nityalita Bhavishta Om Vishnupad Asta Tarsat Sri Simad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada Ki Jai Maha Bhagavat Srila Gaur Kishoras Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai Saptam Goswami Srila Sachit Ananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur Ki Jai Vaishnava Sarvabhauma Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai Gauri Vedanta Charja Srila Baladev Vidyabhushan Prabhu Ki Jai Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur Ki Jai Sri Narottam Srinivas Shamananda Prabhu Traya Ki Jai Sri Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai Sri Rup Sri Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath Sri Jiva Gopal Bhatta Das Raghunath Sad Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai Shri Sarup Damodar, Roy Ramananda, Adi Gaura Prashabindi Ki Jai, Namacharya Shahadas Thakur Ki Jai, Prem Zagaho, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar, Shri Vas Adi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai, Shri Antardip Mayapur, Sri Mantardip Godumadip, Madhudip, Koladip, Rudadip, Jadadip, Modadumadip, Rudadip, Amaka, Shri Navadip Tam Ki Jai, Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopi Go Govardhan Dvarsanatmaka, Shri Braj-mandal Ki Jai, Syamakunda Radha Kunda Jamuna Ganga Tulasi Bhakti Devi Ki Jai, Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanu Nandini Shrimati Radharani Ki Jai, Shrimati Lalita Shrimati Vaishaka Aryasta Sakya Vinda Ki Jai, Shri Rupa Manjari Shri Rati Manjari Adi Manjari Vinda Ki Jai, Shri Purnamasi Devi Ki Jai, Shri Vinda Devi Ki Jai, Shri Gopishwar Mahadev Ki Jai, Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Sudarshan Chakrajuk Ki Jai, Bhakta Vigdamina Srina Singha Bhagavan Ki Jai, Bhaktaraj Shri Prahlad Maharaj Ki Jai, Shri Harinam Prabhu Ki Jai, Shri Bhuvana Mangala Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai, Brihat Pradanga Ki Jai, Shri Brajmando Parikram Ki Jai, Urjvat Ki Jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda Ki Jai, Nittai Gaur Premanande, Hari 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 Bol. Hari Hari Bol.
Hari Hari Bol Maharaj, Dandavat Pranams. Thank you. Also thank you to Nalini for singing such beautiful kirtan. I agree with Jadati Maharaj in what he said about Nalini Vidhi also. And thank you to all the devotees that are joined. Ajnana-timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshururmritam Yana Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Namo Vishnupadaya Radhikaya Priyatmane Shri Srimashila Bhakti Vedanta Narayana Namine. Namo Vishnupadaya Radha Govinda Priyatmane Shri Srimashila Bhakti Jivanacharya Namine. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Shri Srimashila Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namine. Vanja kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavibhyo namo namah. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. First of all, I'd like to offer my humble obeisances at the lotus feet of my Guru Pad Padma Nitya Lila Pravish Om Vishnupada Stotra Sata Shishima Shala Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. My Diksha Gurudev Nitya Lila Pravish Om Vishnupada Stotra Sata Shishima Shala Bhakti Jivan Acharya Goswami Maharaj. At the divine lotus feet of A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada and the entire Rupanuga Guru Varga, the Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis and the devotees around the world and all the people that are watching now and in the future. I offer my humble obeisances to you all. Dandavat Pranams. We are on day 4 of our parikrama. Super excited. We're still in Vrindavan. We are going to be going to Shri Radha-Damodara today, Seva-kunja. Let me get the list. Imlitala, sorry, to begin with. Imlitala, Radha-Damodara, Seva-kunja, Jhadu-mandal,
Srngara-vata.
Srngara-vata, and I think there's one more.
Syamasundar Temple.
And Syamasundar Temple. There you go. Thank you, Maharaj. You're pro at this. So we're going to be taken to those places by 3 esteemed devotees, Sripad Bhakti Vedanta Vaikanas Maharaj, Srila Bhakti Vedanta Tridandi Maharaj, and Srila Bhakti Vedanta Sudvaiti Maharaj. So they will take us there today. Tomorrow, I just want to make an announcement because a lot of people leave before the program finishes and I can't actually remind them. But tomorrow we are going to Belvan and Sripad Bhaktivedanta Tridandi Maharaj and Sripad Bhaktivedanta Vaikanas Maharaj will take us there and speak on those places. Though it's only one location, I think the program will be much shorter than what it is currently. So the time might reduce. So for those devotees that join in an hour later, perhaps you will have to rewatch it because the length of tomorrow's program will be a little bit shorter than the usual. Without further ado, without taking anyone else's time, I invite all three of them to come and join. I think we're going to start with Jhadu Maharaj and then move our way across the lands of Vrindavan to roll in the dust of our Guru Varga and Brajadam. Hari Hari Bol, Dandavat Pranams Maharaj.
Dandavat Chaudhary. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Gurave Gaura Chandraya Radhikaya Tadalaya Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tara Bhaktaya Namo Namaha. Agyan Timirandasya Gyananjala Shalakaya Chakshu Unmilitam Jena Tasmaya Shri Gurave Namaha. And first of all, offering millions and millions of Dandavat Pranams unto the lotus feet of my most beloved Gurudev, Nitya Leela Pravishta Om Asto Tarasara Shishimad Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. And I'm offering the same again, millions and millions of times unto the lotus feet of our most beloved Nitya Leela Pravishta Om Asto Tarasara Shishimad Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. And all our illustrious Rupanuga Guru Varga, my Dandavat Pranams to all of you. So today is an exceptional day. We're actually physically circumambulating our Gopinath Bhavan, where many of us have stayed previously and even maybe staying in the present moment, maybe staying there now. So this is in Gopinath Bhavan, right on the banks of the Jamuna, is where we would have our kirtan party residing. And we're going to come out of the front door of Gopinath Bhavan and go to the left, and then we're going to circumambulate around Gopinath Bhavan. We'll go first to Imlitala, and then we'll go a little further up the gully, up the street to Seva-kunja, and then we'll come around to Radha-Damodara. And at this point, we can go from Radha-Damodara up the street to Syamasundar Temple, which we'll be doing today. And then we come back again to Radha-Damodara and we come to Srngara-vata. So we've literally gone around our Gopinath Bhavan. But this first place we're coming to, Imlitala, is so sacred, it's so powerful. The pastimes here are pivotal for our Sankirtan Ras, or understanding Mahaprabhu. Initially, the Ras Leela is going on in Vamsivat. And we heard yesterday, and we'll probably hear again a few more times before the parikrama is over, how Sri Radhika, she began to notice that actually Krishna was dancing with all the gopis simultaneously. And she, and as well as herself, Radhika is in the center of the Ras Leela. And Krishna is going like a firebrand. We spoke about it the other day. If he expanded himself, this would be considered Aishwarya. It wouldn't be Nara Leela. Nara means human-like pastimes. So it's always contained within human-like pastimes. So in that case, Krishna himself, at lightning speed, we can't even conceive of, was going around to all of the gopis so fast, but time would slow down when he was with each particular gopi, and he'd be arranging their dresses, he'd be wiping the perspiration from their foreheads, etc. He'd be consorting with them momentarily. They would be feeling connected just to Krishna directly. And they were of the mind that Krishna is only dancing with me out of millions and millions of gopis. Actually, we said yesterday, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur talks about billions of gopis. But we can't put this into material calculation because they would have billions of mothers and fathers, billions of brothers, etc. So you'd get some, phenomenal number. So Krishna is dancing with everyone. And the gopis are feeling their life has become completely successful. They're feeling this sobhag mad, this complete pride in their life that they have managed to just be with Krishna alone. This is the mentality. We can understand this to some degree. I can remember when we would speak with our Gurudev. Many times he would be walking through the crowd. He would climb off the podium and walk through a crowd, and he would interact with individuals on the way through. And each time that individual thought, my Gurudev has so much time for me. Gurudev would carry a presence of time so that we would be feeling utterly connected. There was nothing else going on except this conversation with Gurudev. That's how his potency would affect our consciousnesses. So similarly, we can consider that Krishna is like this with each gopi, but in a different time consideration. Sometimes time is extremely compressed, and sometimes it's opened out exponentially. So we can consider like this. These are all the arrangements of Yogamaya. Yogamaya is none other ultimately than Sri Radhika. So Radhika, she is the only one who can see Krishna doing like this. The other gopis are blind to this fact. And it's described that the gopis, they become somewhat proud. This is how it's described in the scripture, this Saubhagyamad. But there are other reasons that Yogamaya is manifesting this situation. And we'll explain this as we go through, because this is such an important point of the whole unfoldment of the Ras Leela. We've spoken about it before, but to speak about it again and again, it's an eternal consideration. None of these every time you speak it, every time you hear it, it goes deeper and deeper. It goes further and further. So Radhika, she perceives this. And then she knows that she has to establish herself as the principal queen of the Ras, we can say. So in a mood to please Krishna, everything Radhika does is only to please Krishna. She apparently leaves in a mood of man. This, it's described as jealous anger. It's not jealous and it's not anger, but that's how it's described. It's a special flavor that Radhika manifests just to please Krishna. Only Radhika, amongst all the gopis, can perform this high man. Other gopis do perform man, but Krishna very, very easily breaks it. But Radhika's man is completely different. Her man is very fixed and very powerful. This Maha man. Chandravali can never do like that because she's not sure that Krishna will come and break her man. But Radhika knows for sure that Krishna can't live without me. Krishna and Radhika are one. Radha Krishna Pranaya Vikritya Kladini Shakti Asmat Ekatmana. They are one. Radha Purna Shakti Krishna Purna Shakti Man Tuevastu Veda Nai Shastra Praman. They are one in all sense. So Radhika is so assured that Krishna has to follow me. So Radhika leaves the Ras Leela for a purpose. And Krishna immediately, as soon as Radhika leaves the Ras Leela, then Krishna immediately feels vacant. It's not some tremendous force, potency that has gone out of it. So he leaves also. And he follows Radhika. He follows her to a secret place, Srngara-vata. We'll go there today. And we'll hear the pastime directly that takes place there. But during that time, Krishna, he pacifies Radhika's man. He arranges flowers in her hair, etc., and subdues that man expertly, only like Krishna can. And then they begin to walk through the beautiful Vrindavan forest and enjoying the scenery, the trees, the flowers, etc., the creatures of the forest. And then at one point, Radhika, she begins to remember her Sakhis. Radhika manifests all the Sakhis for supporting the pleasure of Krishna. All the Sakis are manifesting from Radhika's Kaya Vyuha. So she can sense, because the Sakis, when Krishna disappears and Radhika, they don't know that Radhika has disappeared. They only actually know that Krishna has disappeared. And they start to search for Krishna. There's a whole chapter. It's described that the Sakis become like a bunch of mad women. And they're searching, they're asking every tree, every bush, every creature, which way has Krishna gone? Which way has Krishna gone? Beautiful chapter describing this. So they become frantic. They even start imitating Krishna. This is very beautiful to appreciate. This is in the 30th chapter of the 10th canto. And then Radhika starts to catch the mood that her Sakis are frantically searching for Krishna. So she wants her Sakis to catch up with her. So she tells Krishna that she's feeling somewhat tired. And then Krishna says, well, do you want to come to a flower bed, or do you want to keep on walking? What would you like to do? Ask a direct question. And at this time, Sri Radhika, she says, I don't mind what you do. We can either walk or take me to a flower bed. She's saying like this. So now Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur describes very beautifully that now the two bhavs have become similar. Radhika's bhav was this viraras, very contrary, was very strong. Krishna was augmenting that by a mood of dakshin bhav, very complete submissiveness. Now all of a sudden, Sri Radhika has also become submissive. She doesn't mind whether she walks or whether she goes to a flower bed. So now both the bhavs have become similar. So now the ras has gone down. So at this point, Krishna says, because Krishna also is understanding, they can hear the Sakis behind. They know that they're going to catch up. And Krishna is thinking, if the Sakis catch us both together, they're going to condemn Radha. They're going to condemn her. So nothing will be achieved by this. So Krishna thinks better they just find Radhika alone. But so Krishna tells Radhika, sit on my shoulders and I'll carry you to a flower bed. And when Radhika goes to do that, Krishna, he disappears. And Radhika's mood of viraha ras just becomes so extreme. Understand what's happening here. When Radha and Krishna are alone together, the sambhog, the milan, the meeting, is so extreme. It's modern Akya Mahabhav at its pitch, at its highest. And similarly, when Krishna leaves, then that mohan, Akya Mahabhav, that separation mood is going to be at its pitch also. This means that the sattvika bhavs are all blazing. Those elemental bhavs of the body, earth, water, fire, air, ether, etc., they will be fully blazing at that highest extremity. So Radhika just collapses on the ground and she chants, Hey Nata Ramana Prishta, Kwasi Kwasi Mahapuja, Tasyaste Kripayame, Saki Darshayam Sanidim. That, oh, my Lord, my Master, where are you? Where are you? I'm so bereaved. I'm so wretched. Please, you must come to me. Hey Nata Ramana Prishta, Kwasi Kwasi Mahapuja. She's calling like this. Actually, this is the same verse that Madhavendra Puripad is thinking when he is leaving his body. He's saying, he's saying the same mood of the verse. Where is Krishna? Where is Krishna? I'm so bereft of your absence. And she's lamenting to the highest extreme. Now understand that the Sakis, they were also in a high pitch of separation from Krishna. And they were considering that their separation mood could not be surpassed. But when they very quickly find Radhika, when she's alone there, they follow the footprints, they find the footprints and they follow, and they come to Radhika alone. And she's in such a high state of separation. And at this point, all the Sakis realize she has the highest affection and attraction for Krishna. She has the highest prem. Anaya radito nunam Bhagavan Hare Ishwara. Yan Prityo Asyam. This verse? Anayana. Maharaj, you don't know this verse?
I don't know the first part.
Okay, so
You're speaking my whole Katha of Srngara-vata.
So, meanwhile, when Krishna has left Radhika, he is also reflecting her separation sentiments, her mood. And he comes to Imlitala, and he has the seed of the desire to experience the moods of Sri Radhika. What is that separation mood that she's feeling? And he completely becomes immersed in Radhika's separation mood. And at that time, his whole form takes on a golden complexion. This is like the prototype, we can say, of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This is Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu is going to manifest with this kanti, with this complexion of Sri Radhika, this golden complexion. So Krishna is feeling as bereft as Sri Radhika in this separation mood. So this is Imlitala, where we have come. This Krishna is sitting here. There's an ancient tree here, an ancient Imli tree. Actually, today it's a newer tree from the same ancient tree. Our Gurudev described that when that tree gave up its mortal life, then another tree manifested in its place from the same tree. So my Gurudev always made it very clear that this tree is the same soul, but it just has a different body. So this is the tree that we are sitting under now in Imlitala. Yes, we have a picture on the screen of Imlitala. This is when the seedling was first, the tree was first manifesting. And Krishna is sitting under here. And when Mahaprabhu comes to Vrindavan, he comes to this place, remembering, of course, this pastime, remembering the heartfelt separation that Radhika is experiencing by leaving him. Of course, the whole purpose of this pastime being arranged by Yogamaya is that so all the different groups of gopis will again honor Sri Radhika as the queen of Braj. The different camps, the Vipaksh, Surit, Tatashta, they will all follow the Swapaksh gopis, and they will all honor Sri Radhika fully, as she must be honored in that way, because they're all manifesting from Sri Radhika. So this is the pastime that Yogamaya has arranged for the pleasure of Krishna. So in this Imlitala place where we sit today, we can appreciate this is the beginning, so to speak. It's the first time when Krishna himself, he takes that complexion, that golden complexion of Sri Radhika in a mood of separation. Because when Mahaprabhu manifests on the planet, especially when he goes to Puri in the last 24 years of his life, our Gurudev Krishna, he's always in a mood of viraha. He's always in a mood of separation. The Puri pastimes are all about these separation moods that Radhika is experiencing, that Krishna wants to experience the depth of those moods. This is what he's experiencing in Puri. So there's practically no meeting. Once or twice Krishna appears and there's a fragrance, a scent of his manifesting there. But basically, it's all a separation mood. So here in Imlitala today, we're remembering Mahaprabhu. And when Mahaprabhu comes to Vrindavan, he sits in this place every day. He's only in Vrindavan for practically 10, 12 days altogether. And he comes with Balba Bhattacharya, who's his servant. And each day he comes from Akruragat. He's residing in Akruragat. And he comes to Imlitala and he's chanting and he's remembering his identity as Radhika. He's thinking of, he's immersing himself in that mood of Radhika. He comes to taste Radhika's bhav. This is why he's come. Radha bhav to Sudalitam, Nomi Krishna Swarupam. He's come to taste Radhika's mood. So this is the pastime that we remember when we are coming to sitting in Imlitala. Imlitala is right on the bank of the Jamuna, a most beautiful, attractive place. And this is being maintained previously by Bhakti Sarang Goswami Maharaj. He came and manifested this temple on the order of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati and made a very beautiful Gaudiya Mat there. So it's a Gaudiya Mat temple there that is here today. And it's a very beautiful courtyard. And the environment is very special. It's very sacred because these moods I've described, unless we understand the previous pastime, how can we possibly understand this pastime? You have to understand, huh? Yes, this verse, Radha Chinta Niveshanam, Yasya Kanta Silopati, Sri Krishna Charanam Bande, Radha Lingita Vigraham. So Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Maharaj, he's written this beautiful verse. I worship the lotus feet of the form of Sri Krishna that manifests when he is thoroughly immersed in separation from Sri Radhika. He's just left Sri Radhika for the sake of unifying all the gopis, for the sake of Krishna's pleasure. So when the Ras Leela again recommences, everyone will be fully honoring the queen of Vrindavan. And then it's saying, separation from Sri Radhika, who was displaying man, her mood of jealous anger. And when he is embraced by Sri Radhika, after her man is broken, at these times, his own dark complexion vanishes and he assumes her bright golden form. So this is the, as I said, this is the prototype, so to speak, of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when Mahaprabhu is sitting here in Imlitala. So this pastime is very sacred to the Gaudiya Vaishnava. Krishna's moods at this time become like one. So this is a form of Krishna tasting the moods directly of Sri Radhika. It's the prototype of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And it's described that some of the gopis actually witnessed this mood at that time. And they remember that form that Krishna displayed at that time. So now from this place in Imlitala, there's a very short distance to walk to Seva-kunja. So now we come to Seva-kunja. We go with our Parikrama party up a small gully and we come to the wonderful gardens of Seva-kunja. Previously, it was there were no cages for the monkey to keep the monkeys out, but now they put many, many cages in Seva-kunja so the pilgrims can walk around unharassed by the monkeys. And when we go into, there's 3 yog pits in Vrindavan, 3 meeting places in Vrindavan. The first meeting place, which is early in the morning, about 7:30 in the morning, is in Gupta Kund, which is right next to Vrindakund, which is in Nandagaon. In Nandagaon, Dhanista Saki, she takes Krishna down a secret staircase towards the north, and they come to Vrindakund, and just behind Vrindakund is Gupta Kund. And all the Sakis manifest. This is like an aprakat yoga pit. This is like a meeting of all the manjaris and all the Sakis. This is how my Gurudev has described it. And in this Gupta means secret. So this is the first meeting of the day with all the Sakis and all the manjaris. They're meeting in Gupta Kund. This is the first yoga pit. Then the second yoga pit is in Radha Kund itself, where the Madhyana pastimes are being performed. And all the Sakis and the manjaris, they are all there also meeting. And the third yoga pit in the evening is in Seva-kunja. So three yoga pits are in Vrindavan altogether. So now we've come to Seva-kunja. And we come into the very center of Seva-kunja, and there's a small, very, very small mandir. You can't fit more than about 20, 30 people in it, all sitting down, bunched up together. And on the altar, there's the beautiful painting of Krishna submitting his flute and peacock feather to Sri Radhika. So this is the highest appreciation of submission by Krishna. Now, this could not be accepted by even Jayadev Goswami. We've said many times this beautiful verse, Smarakarala Kandanam, Mamasimrasimmandanam, Dehi Padapalavam Udaram, that he could not write this verse. Krishna had to come himself and write this verse for Jayadev Goswami in his Gita Govinda we were talking yesterday. So this very confidential pastime where Krishna is in submission to Radhika. Krishna only feels satisfied and fulfilled, and Sri Radhika also, because her mood, the heroine mood, is called Swadhina Bhartrika. This will manifest when Krishna is in a completely submissive mood. So in this Seva-kunja, we appreciate this nature of Krishna submitting to Sri Radhika. And all the Sakis, they all come in this Seva-kunja. And this is where Ras is performed very often after the Ras at Vamsivat. After the Ras at Vamsivat, they come to Seva-kunja. And often they spend the whole night in Seva-kunja, because now it's described that even the monkeys will leave Seva-kunja at night. No one remains in Seva-kunja at night. So this is the mood of Seva-kunja. So when we're in Seva-kunja, we're understanding the nature of Radhika's man. This is an interesting appreciation. Sometimes we might think that why is Radhika performing this man? This man is only in service to Krishna. Without this man, how can Krishna perform the service of breaking that man? So Radhika knows that Krishna likes to perform seva. Seva is the symptom of love. So Krishna is performing that seva to Sri Radhika to break her man. And sometimes he has to work very, very hard to break her man. Sometimes Radhika's man is very severe, very intense, and it's very difficult for Krishna to break that man. But Krishna always succeeds because Radhika wants him to succeed. So this is the beauty of this emotion, this man that Sri Radhika demonstrates. And then from this man, then pranaya will manifest. From pranaya, rag, anurag, bhav, mahabhav. Then rudha and adirudha, these higher states of prem will manifest. But this man is like a junction, so to speak. After the man, then pranaya will come, which is a very intensely close mood between them. So this is the mood in Seva-kunja. And in Seva-kunja also, there is the Lalita Kund. When the gopis were all there, Lalita Saki, she became thirsty. And she requested Krishna to satisfy her thirst. They'd been dancing. So Krishna, with his flute, he manifests the beautiful Lalita Kund, which is there today. So we take darshan of that Lalita Kund. So to understand all the different sakis that are there is helpful for us to appreciate this. So there are so many different types of sakis. Radhika is considered the Yantika Adhika. She's the topmost. There's no one else in her league, so to speak. Sri Lalita Saki, she's called Apekshika Adhika. She's second to Radhika. Then there's the Sama, Lagu, and Adhikas. There's 3 other divisions, and they're divided into Madhya, Mridvi, and Prakara. 3 divisions there. There are so many descriptions of the different degrees of intensity of the gopis' prem for Krishna, because they all have their special nuances. They all have their individual potencies. And Radhika, by her potency, has manifested all these sakis to be tasted by Shri Krishna. They will all taste Krishna, and Krishna will reciprocate with each individual ras of each individual gopi. So this is something about Seva-kunja. We've come to this very beautiful place of Seva-kunja, which is very much connected with Imlitala. So now we're going to come out of the entrance again, and we're going to come into the gully, and we're going to go to Radha-Damodara Temple. So we're coming now to Radha-Damodara, which is so famous. Radha-Damodara Temple was carried on by Jiva Goswami after Rupa Goswami manifested this place. But Pujapad Bhaktivedanta by Canis Maharaj will explain more about this Radha-Damodara Temple. So thank you all very much. Imlitala ki jai, Seva-kunja ki jai, Anantakota Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Go Premanande, Vanshakalpatarubhyascha, Kripa Sindhubevacha, Patitanam Pavnibhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha.
Thank you, Maharaj. That was extraordinary. And actually, I was just thinking that sometimes, like myself in particular, I walk past Gopinath Bhavan. Like I go into Gopinath Bhavan and I sometimes look at Imlitala but don't always go inside. And I'm thinking to myself, like, I always go past it, but sometimes, most of the time I don't go inside. And I'm thinking to myself, oh, I'm Gaudiya. This is like the place where everything starts.
Yes,
You know?
yes.
And I was just thinking to myself that I must make the effort to connect with Mahaprabhu there, because actually this is where we begin our bhakti also, right? Like to understand the moods of Mahaprabhu and what's happening. So, yeah, I was just contemplating how silly I am.
All around, beautiful murals on the wall all around. It's very beautiful.
Yeah, it's actually a very peaceful temple. It's a very, very peaceful temple and very beautiful. So thank you, Maharaj. And Seva-kunja, as we know, Shamrani Didi also Gurudev's place with his heart, and she also painted the Seva-kunja picture there, and there's so many pastimes actually with Srila Gurudev there also. So it's nice to feel connected to those places with Gurudev there.
Yeah. And in that Syamarani picture, we see the flute at Krishna's feet, and his peacock feather is there. So this Seva-kunja is reflected there. It's
I
very
can share it one more time. I'll just share it really quickly before Vaikan's marriage starts again. But I know it's not a great picture, but basically the flutes, yeah.
Yeah. There it is.
And then I think the peacock feathers somewhere. It's got one on his head, but there's another one there somewhere.
Yes. It's all there.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you, Yashoda.
Thank you, Maharaj. Hari Hari Bol.
Hari Bol.
So we'll now move over to Sripad Bhaktivedanta Vaikanas Maharaji. Maharaji, just to let you know, if you go past 6, then you won't see me anymore. You'll see Tarun Prabhu, who is our co-host. So in case he's there on the screen, so in case I'm not there to close, it'll be Tarun Prabhu.
Time is it now?
So yeah, you're ready to go though.
No, what time is, well, you said 6. I'm looking at.
Oh,
8.
sorry. So in about half an hour, no, 20 minutes. So if you're not done by then, which is no time pressure, Tarun will take over.
Well, I'm supposed to be 20 minutes, right? I'm conscientious about time, because Gurudev was also stay on topic, he'd cut us off at a certain amount. Anyway, so
Okay,
I'll
Mark.
do a quick Mangalacharana. Agyana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshulamanitandjena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Guruve Gaurachandraya Radhikaye Tedalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namaha Yam Pravajantam Anupeta Apeta Kritam Dvapayano Virahakatara Ajuhava Putreti Tanmayataya Taravo Binedus Tam Sarvabhutam Hridayam Munimanatusmi Tavevasmi Najivami Tvaya Vina Iti Vigyaya Radhe Tvam Nayanam Sharanandike Vancha kalpatarubhascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. So before speaking, we're offering a most humble, grateful, enthusiastic obeisance to the lotus feet of our beloved gurus, and to Sri Nitya-lila Bhavishta Om Vishnupad Asto Tadasat Sri Simad Abhaya Charnaravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada and Sri Guru Pada Padma Nitya-lila Bhavishta Om Vishnupad Asto Tadasat Sri Simad Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj, and to our exalted Rupanu Guru Varga and all the assembled Vaishnavas Vaishnavis, headed by our beloved Sannyasigan, Sri Dhani Maharaj, who I'm looking at, Shuddha-dvaiti, who's Gupta, Shuddha-dvaiti, hidden somewhere in that room. No one can see him. We don't know if he's there or not. We don't have the Adi card to see him, I guess. Anyway, when I was listening to Sri Dhani Maharaj's talk, a couple of things came to mind, which relate to Radha-Damodara, because Radha-Damodara, Sri Radha-Damodara, this is the place really established by Sri Rupa Goswami. And when we went there with Srila Gurudev, his mood was always so grave and so profound. And he was very concerned that the appropriate kata be spoken there, right? That the proper moods be understood and adhered to. And one time I remember when we were in Vrindavan and we all went to that place, and that day Gurudev did not go. And in the evening when we came back, he asked who had spoken at the different places, because in the evening we would always review what we had done in the day, right? And so we're at Gopinath Bhavan, and he said, who spoke there? And I had been one of the speakers chosen. And they said, Vaikanas Raj. And then Gurudev turned his head and looked at me and glared at me, you know. And I was thinking, oh God, you know, he's looking at me like I'm not qualified to speak at this place. Maybe I said something stupid like I often do. But it was nice because also it, imbibed in me an appreciation for the gravity of all of these places, right? Every one of them, that Gurudev came to share this with us, to really open the door. And on the, I mentioned this before, but our altar here is Seva-kunja. Radha and Krishna are sitting together on a throne, exactly like the painting of Srimati Shamrani Didi, which Gurudev has said is his heart. This is his heart. And his flute is often at Radhika's feet. He can hold it in his hand like this sometimes, offering it, but also it's at her feet. And Lalita and Vishaka are on one side, each side, and then Rupa Manjari and Rati Manjari. And then on one side, just outside, would be Srila Gurudev, and on the other side, Srila Prabhupada. They are also at that place in service. We've heard that confidentially. They both have service at that place, right? So we're very happy. And one day, maybe different devotees from around the world can come and visit here. And the mood of worshiping these deities is very special indeed. So when Chaitanya Maharaj was talking about Imlitala as a revelation of the non-difference between Krishna and Mahaprabhu, but in different moods, right? But how that extraordinary transformation takes place. And he also mentioned something that took place with the gopis when they were in separation. One thing that they did, and he mentioned, was that they were so absorbed in Krishna, singing his glories and then singing his pastimes, they felt as if they had become Krishna himself. Now, the gopis, they didn't become Krishna, but their thought was so strong in meditating on these pastimes that Krishna was drawn to them and entered their heart, and it was like they became one with him. So I am lifting Govardhan Hill, I am killing Aghasura, I am killing Bakasura, all these different pastimes they were experiencing in that mood of Krishna. And Krishna, in the Parikram book, it's described like this, that when Krishna was in that space, he was thinking, Radhe, 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 chanting so deeply in love and separation of Radhika, that as Chaitanya Maharaj explained, he began to take on her complexion, her golden complexion, and he began to chant Radhe, 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 and more absorbed in her. Finally, he began to chant Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. He began to feel Radhika's separation from him and began to chant Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. So this is Mahaprabhu. We're going to hear more about that when we hear about Nidhuvan as well. Anyway, so on to Radha-Damodara. And the history, there's not so much actually in the Parikram book about this place, that this was the place where Rupa Goswami would come and do his very deep bhajan. There's a small place there that recreates. Of course, his kutir was made of simple, sticks and bamboo and leaves, right? Now there's something more formal made out of bricks. Years ago, the courtyard was very open and there were no walls, not so much. You can see pictures of our Gurudev sitting there giving lectures, and there were trees in the courtyard as well. And the ground was simple cobblestone and some places dirt. But over the years, as with all of Vrindavan, because of initially Srila Prabhupada's preaching to bring the West and awaken the world's understanding and appreciation of Vrindavan, all the pastime places are being renewed and shown to greater glory. When we first went to Imlitala with Gurudev, the temple was there, but it was very rudimentary. You saw that picture? It was not like that at all. Now, as their preaching has become more and more successful, it's become very beautiful with the frescoes and the beautiful flooring and the inside of the temple, quite magnificent. All the places are becoming more and more beautiful, which is important for people without deep developed samskars. They need that beauty to be able to appreciate more these pastime places, right? So Radha-Damodara the same way. Now you come there and it's all enclosed. You're under ceilings everywhere, right? Yeah, it keeps out the monkeys and thieves, I guess, whatever. But it's not the same as when we were first going, very open, sitting out there, and even the same trees that were there when Rupa and Sanatan were there, that's all sort of disappeared. But nevertheless, that place has so much potency. It has not just the Bhajan Kutir, but the Samadhi of Rupa Goswami, and then behind it, Samadhi of Jiva Goswami, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj. And then beyond that, there is this whole area of Samadhis of great Vaishnavas over the centuries. And in recent years, a Pushpa Samadhi of our own, Srila Gurudev, is there, right across from Jiva Goswami, a very special place that the devotees were able to secure for him. There's Samadhi of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada, and there are many, many pastimes in this place, which I thought I would talk about. Now, let me just go back. This is where Jiva Goswami manifested the Damodar deity. It says manifested by his own hand. I'm not sure what that means. I've never known. Maybe Tridandimaj, did he form it? Did he, take that service up? Did it appear to him? I don't know. But somehow or other, he is responsible. And the deity we see on the altar is not that same deity. This is a Pratibhu. That deity of Damodar was taken to Jaipur when Aurangzeb was performing atrocities. One of the Jaipur kings collected all the major deities and took them to Jaipur, right? But if you go to Jaipur, you can see that deity of Damodar. And I was surprised when we went there because I thought he was going to be like the deity on the altar, but he's actually not very big at all. He's maybe, you can't see my whole hands here, maybe,
About 18 inches.
Yeah, about this big.
18
Not that big.
Yeah.
Yeah. And very beautiful, very lovely, and a very small little temple there, not like the Govindaji temple. But he manifested him there, and the Goswamis would gather there. Obviously, then there was a clearing, a little kunja. They had many trees they were sitting under. And aside from his writing, the Goswamis would here, Srimad Bhagavatam, Raghunath Bhatta would recite, he was famous for the moods that he experienced and his melodious voice. And so everyone always requested him to speak. And Gurudev gives a very beautiful description of how that would take place. That when he began to go into the very confidential and deep subject matters, some of which we cover every day, all the other associates would begin to manifest extraordinary transformations in their own heart of prema and weeping and horripilation and tears coming from their eyes, right? And hair standing on end, shivering, so many different experiences. But Rupa Goswami, he would not appear to be experiencing anything. In fact, he would be sitting completely still, so still and motionless, they wondered, has he left his body? Right? You know, the 10th stage of prema is so deep, it appears like death itself. And so sometimes they would have to go up to him, so worried, and just to detect, is there any life in him left at all? Has he left his body? They would take a little filament of cotton and put it by his nose. If there's any breath at all, the filament would move. And as they put it up to his nose, the breath from his nose burnt that cotton to ashes, just in flames. In other words, his separation was so intense that even the slight breath coming out from his nostril burned that cotton to ash. So his moods, Gurudev would say, were the deepest of all. And there he wrote, Gurudev says he wrote Ujjvala Nilamani there, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, and so many other sacred texts. And over the centuries, our acharyas, subsequent acharyas would go there and do meditation. Our Srila Prabhupada, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, lived at Radha-Damodara from the mid-50s until it was time for him to go to the West. And he had 2 rooms. We can go to those rooms now. Again, like everything else, they've been fixed up very nicely. But when he was living there, very basic. And, just like crumbling walls, dirt floor, maybe some stones, but old. And one room he would sleep, another room he would do his, he would cook. And out of the room that he would do that, you could look out the window and you could see the Bhajan, Kutir, and Samadhi of Rupa Goswami. And he would sit in there and write and look out at them for inspiration. This has all been described later by things that he revealed confidentially to different devotees over the years. And this is very close to Seva-kunja. And so one night, he described that he was sitting there chanting. He would chant or write all night long. There was one Babaji who lived right there, and he would observe that the candle, the light in the quarters of Srila Prabhupada never went out. Right? They didn't even have electricity back then. There was no electricity, so he would write by candlelight, right? And it would never go out. And sometimes he would be seen to be going out into the courtyard and brooming and sweeping. This is a very deep kind of service, actually. Even though Gurudev says it's not mentioned in the 64 limbs of bhakti by Rupa Goswami, it is one of the highest, purest forms of Sarup Siddha Bhakti. And it's the service given to Jiva Goswami by Rupa Goswami, given to Shyamananda by Jiva Goswami. You go into the area, the kunja, and you sweep that in service to your guru, to Srimati Radhika. And so it's described that many nights, late at night, midnight and after, Srila Prabhupada would be there, and he'd be sweeping very humbly, calling out, "Hey Rup, hey Sanatan, Give me your mercy. Give me your mercy. Weeping, weeping, weeping. In other words, meditating on the service that had been given by Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada to take this message of Rupa Goswami to the West, right? That which Mahaprabhu had given, Sri Chaitanya Manubhishtam, Stapitam Jaina Bhutale, right? Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadandikam. Rupa Goswami Pad is worshipped and glorified because he, more than anyone, understood the innermost heart of Mahaprabhu and was empowered to reveal that in his literatures and his teachings. And so all of our acharyas, even Sanatana Goswami, who Rupa considered to be his guru, considered Rupa Goswami to be his guru. And all our acharyas are empowered. And so Srila Prabhupada was chanting, please Rupa, please Sanatana. He was writing books. He was translating Bhagavatam, did a commentary on Roy Ramananda Samvad, wrote some small booklets, was doing Bhagavad Gita there, praying for the empowerment, the mercy of Rupa to write in such a way that this could be understood and conveyed to the world of the Mlechas and the Yavanas, right? He wasn't writing like Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur for the scholars of the different sampradayas and the Mayavadis and the culture of India. He was writing for the Western world. Hey, Rup, hey, Sanatan, give me your mercy. Help me. Without your mercy, how can I accomplish this task? Right? How can I do that? My Guru Maharaj is Sri Vrishabhanu Dayata, right? He's the servant of Sri Vrishabhanu Nandini, Srimati Radhika. And he has ordered me to do this. And you are the most close and most intimate associate of Srimati Radharani. So you can help me fulfill his order. And one night, not too long before he actually left, he'd been trying for so many years to get a ticket, find some way to get to India, get a passport. You can't believe how difficult it was in those days. Just, the Indian government was so, I don't know, you could say xenophobic, so enclosed, so distanced from the Western world, the colonizers, right, and the British, that they made it very difficult for coming and going, right? And Srila Prabhupada had to go through great difficulty to get a passport, then to get a visa, and then where was he going to get a ticket? How was he going to go? He couldn't afford a plane ticket. That was so absolutely beyond the realm of possibility. I mean, he would stand outside in Delhi for hours waiting for someone who would offer to give him 5 rupees to help publish his books. So how could he buy a plane ticket that would have cost back then over 10,000 rupees one way? So this was the last obstacle. And he's constantly praying how to overcome it. And one night, looking out the window, you wouldn't see it now because there's walls separating everything, but the samadhis of the other acharyas were not blocked at that time. And then all of a sudden he heard someone calling his name. Abai, Charanaravinda. Abai, Charanaravinda. This was the name given to him by Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. And he heard that. Who's calling me? So he got up and he went out and began to walk. And then in the distance, the samadhis are kind of in rows, and he saw in one row a light coming out, brilliant light, and he walked down. And at the end of the row was his own Gurudev Samadhi. And he looked down there and he saw Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada standing there, glowing, effulgent. Remember, yesterday we heard Sri Advaita Maharaj talking about how Gopal Guru had manifested himself at Dira Samira to chant and do bhajan. After his body had been placed in samadhi, he manifested himself again and was doing that. There was Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada standing, glowing radiantly, like described by the song we sing every day. Atikomala, you get a soft golden body, right? So beautiful. And Srila Prabhupada saw him and he offered obeisance. He's weeping. And Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada said, Abai, Charanaravinda, why are you still here? You're supposed to go to the West and preach. And he said, oh, Guru Maharaj, I've been trying, praying so hard. I can't get a ticket. I can't get there. Abai, they're waiting for you. They're calling for you. You have to go now. They're waiting for you. You know, Srila Prabhupada would sometimes say in his opening address when he had arrived to some place, you could hear this on some lectures, my dear boys and girls, he would say, and his voice would be choked with emotion. He said, I thank you so much for helping me, fulfill the mission of my Guru Maharaj. I believe you have all been sent by him to help me. Right? They're waiting for you. Ooh, you can barely speak thinking about that. And then it was just a few days later that the ticket came, that Moraji Desai said, yes, you can have a ticket. And then he went to Calcutta and then all of those pastimes and off on the boat and off he went. But Seva-kunja was his place of deep, deep bhajan. It's described that he would be there and sometimes he would go out. He'd do Madhukari and he would go out and chant. And he would go down to the Jamuna, put his danda in the sand and chant, Hare Krishna mantras, singing beautiful Hare Krishna bhajans and circumambulating the danda. The danda, which is the Lord Vishnu himself, who's coming to assist and empower the sannyasi in their preaching. Right? And sometimes at night he called and he told someone that last night I heard the most beautiful sound of a flute coming through the air. Because Seva-kunja is just a stone's throw away. That actual whole area is actually Seva-kunja. It's not just that little tiny place we know now as Seva-kunja, but that whole area. And he heard this beautiful flute sound that mesmerized him, stunned him. Remember when Bhaktivinoda Thakur describes in his Saki form, he hears that flute sound calling Radhe, Radhe, and he stands up bewildered, stunned. Oh, what do I do now? This is what Srila Prabhupada was experiencing in that Radha-Damodara place. And this is why our gurus bring us to this place, because someday we may be qualified to go and do bhajan there and have these kinds of experiences at Radha-Damodara, at Seva-kunja. Oh, one last thing about Seva-kunja, back up, because it's all one. One day at Gopinath Bhavan, during the morning program, we were all there, and the pujari from Seva-kunja came. And he had a big plate of sweets, big plate of Maha sweets, and a garland. And he said, last night, Srimati Radhika came to me in a dream. And she said, please take this garland and these sweets that my beloved and I have enjoyed and give them to my very dear, dear servant that you know as Srila Narayan Maharaj. And so he came and he brought that and put the garland on Gurudev. And Gurudev ended the program pretty quickly after that. And then he told us to distribute the sweets. And so we had this giant tray. Bhagarat Maharaj and me were passing it out to everybody. You can't imagine the crowds, everybody coming for that, right? This was Maha Prasad, right? Offered from Radhika to Gurudev and from Gurudev to us. So these places, they're amazing. I mean, we don't know how amazing they are. I really appreciate Chaitanya Maharaj speaking because he has spent so much time doing his bhajan. Gurudev told him, you do your bhajan and learn bhajan. And so he spent a lot of time at Radha-Kund, at Gopinath Bhavan, near there, different places staying, Durvastila, serving and becoming absorbed in the Dham. And it's reflected in the Harikata. I hear things I've never heard before, or that I heard and never understood. So I really appreciate it. Anyway, I've gone too long. So I'll stop here. Vancha kalpatarubhascha kripa sindhu bheva patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha.
That marriage was absolutely phenomenal. Just your relationship with Srila Prabhupada is really emanating in your Harikatha also. And I can tell that your affection for Swami Maharaj or Srila Prabhupada is of that you can appreciate all of the places that he's stayed. And just outside of Swami Maharaj's, Srila Prabhupada's temple, he writes one thing, or it's written at least, if you can see my screen, it says the temple of Jiva Goswami is my heart and soul. And I just thought that encapsulated all of the hard endeavor and sadhana and bhajan that Srila Prabhupada did prior to coming to the West. So, and also like this relationship that, we hear that, many different things about Srila Prabhupada, but reality is that he's one of the manjaris there serving, and he's qualifying others to serve there as well, under the guidance of Rupa Goswami and Jiva Goswami Pad. So we're really, really fortunate to take these dust particles, and there's a picture, I can't find it, but of Gurudev also going to Radha-Damodara Temple, and listening to Srila Prabhupada speak, and he would sit in the corner and just listen to Srila Prabhupada speak, and you can just tell that their relationship was just beyond explanation. So thank you, Maharaj. I think Tridani Maharaj might want to say something. So Maharaj, please do. You should be able to unmute, Maharaj.
Srila Prabhupada actually said, I am eternally at Radha-Damodara. I mean, some people might think, oh, they have these big arguments about Srila Prabhupada's Ras, and people can conceive of him in whatever way they like, right? Because according to your own adhikar, your own vision, you'll see. But Srila Prabhupada saying, I am eternally at Radha-Damodara. This, I mean, can there be any doubt of his moods, right?
Very beautiful, Maharaj. Very beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you for setting it up. I was so happy after you talked. So many thoughts are coming in my mind, made it very easy to speak. You took me to Vrindavan.
Nice.
Remember when we used to go to Seva-kunja and crawl under the bushes to where Gurudev would be, try to get a spot near him, and we'd all be hunkered down under the bushes in the sand and the white sand.
In Niduvan, he'd make us sit under the little trees.
Yeah.
Start to describe the different pastimes. That's coming up in a few days. We can talk about it.
Yeah.
Okay, Maharaj. Thank you. Now we have Shuddhadwaiti Maharaj waiting on the line here. He's going to Srngara-vata, and after Srngara-vata, he'll take us to Syamasundar, and after Syamasundar, he'll take us to
Jhadu-mandal.
We can double here, Maharaj.
Okay.
There you go, Maharaj. Also, I'm gonna unfortunately take leave, so I will hand over to my wonderful co-host, Tarun Krishna Prabhu, who will take over and take you to the end of the program. So thank you so much, devotees, and I look forward to hearing from you. So Devaki Maharaj, I'm listening in the background, so I'm not completely gone. I am in the background. Hari Hari Bol, Dandavat Pranams.
Thank you, Didi. Thank you.
Sorry, what was the request?
Unmute. Dandavat.
Unmute. Okay, so unmute. Okay, yes. Maharaj is unmuted.
Jai Manchakapatavyasya Kripa Sindhyacha Patitanam Pamanam Vaishtanam Namo Namo Mukam Karoti Vacharam Pangumam Gometi Giringa Tripam Tamamam Shri Guru Divatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Parindravadalam.
You'll speak louder, Maharaj.
I want to begin by offering my obeisances at the lotus feet of my spiritual masters, Srila Prabhupada, Srila Govinda Maharaj, and our beloved Gurudev, Srila Bhaktivinoda Goswami Maharaj, all the Vaishnavas headed by the 390 sannyasis, all the Vaishnavis, please accept my humble pronouns. So we are coming out from Radha-Damodara after going 4 times as tradition requires around the samadhis, including that of Srila Rupa Goswami, and about 150 meters up the street in the direction of Loy Bazaar, on the right side, we will come to the beautiful temple of Radha Syamasundar. So in the courtyard of Radha Syamasundar, there is a samadhi of Shyamananda Prabhu. We will come later to that topic. So those deities, Radha Syamasundar, they were installed and worshipped by Baladev Vidyabhushan. Baladev Vidyabhushan, he was born in Orissa, next to Remuna, and he studied under Radha-Damodara, and that he accepted as his spiritual master. Later on, he went to Vrindavan to do bhajan. Now, as we heard before many times, and Trilandi Maharaj just mentioned it a couple of days ago, in Jaipur, now one branch of the Sri Sampradaya, the Ramanandis, they had become very, very aggressive towards the Gaudiyas. And they were complaining that how is it that Radha, Srimati Radharani, is worshipped next to Govinda in the temple? Because Lakshmi Narayan, they are officially married. We find in the Purana the marriage of Lakshmi Narayan described in an amazing way. But Radha and Krishna, they're not married. So what is this kind of worship? This is not bona fide. And they raised such a hue and cry that the king, who was a Vaishnav, his ancestor had brought actually the deity of Govinda from Vrindavan to save him with other deities from the atrocities of the Muslims. From Agra, the capital at that time was not Delhi, but Agra. One time in Agra, on the terrace of his palace, Emperor Aurangzeb was with one of his wives. And then they saw in the distance, very, very far, I mean, it's about 70 kilometers between Agra and Vrindavan, a light, a very bright light. So she inquired, oh, my dear husband, what is this light we've seen? And he said, oh, this is a ghee lamp on top of the Govinda temple, the temple of the infidels. And she said, how can you tolerate that? No, you're the emperor. How can you tolerate such a light? No. And because he was handpicked, attached to his wife, he sent immediately his army and they started to demolish the Govinda temple. It used to be, if you look at it, it's 2-story high. It used to be 7 stories. You could see the flame all the way from Agra. So they were systematically started to break it down. Now, we cannot imagine how it was. There's no documents, there's no drawings or paintings or to speak of pictures. And then there was a news of some Rajput attacking. So they left it. Those Ramanandis were in Galta. Galta at that time is just outside in the suburbs of Jaipur, a very beautiful place in the hills with beautiful temples and kundas, and it's a very charming place. I love to go there whenever I go to Jaipur. And in Galta, they were pressing that this worship of Radha along with Govinda is not bona fide. So the king, as I mentioned, he called for Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, that he knew was a topmost scholar. Gurudev used to say Rasik Shiromani, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. And at that time he was quite old, so he delegated his student, his Siksha disciple, Baladev Vidyabhushan, to Jaipur. Baladev Vidyabhushan went along with another devotee, very lean and thin, sadhus, ascetics, and all the Ramanandis were well-fed Brahmins. And in front of this big assembly of aggressive, demanding Brahmins, Baladev Vidyabhushan very nicely presented all the Shastric references and completely defeated the Ramanandis. But because they were apparently of bad faith, they didn't accept defeat, and they said, okay, this is well, but anyway, you're not a bona fide Sampradaya. No, you don't have a commentary on the Vedanta. Every bona fide Vaishnava Sampradaya has a commentary, you guys don't, therefore you're out of the Sampradaya. You're not qualified, you're an Apa Sampradaya. And Baladev Vidyabhushan tried to explain, but we take the Srimad Bhagavatam as a natural commentary of the Vedanta written by the author of the Vedanta himself, Srila Vyasadeva. At the height of his samadhi, yoga, Bhakti Yoga Samadhi, we hear from Srila Gurudev and from the Bhagavatam, he was revealed all the pastimes of Krishna, and he wrote the Bhagavatam as a natural commentary of the Vedanta. So therefore the Vaishnavas, the Gaudiyas, never felt any need to write a commentary, because who can give a better commentary than the author himself? But they said, this is well, but we want a commentary, otherwise we won't accept you. And it is said that Govindaji himself, he dictated to Baladev Vidyabhushan the commentary called Govinda Bhasya. That's why he called it Govinda Bhasya. This commentary, I just took dictation from Govinda and I wrote it. Therefore, he called it Govinda Bhasya, the commentary by Govinda himself. Some say, Kastit Vadanti said that it took 7 days only for him to produce that commentary. No. So these deities, or Syamasundar, they were worshipped by Baladev Vidyabhushan. Therefore, I'm speaking that kata there, because basically this is the most important thing. In all lines, this is like going down like the glory of the Gaudiyas, that one small lean and thin sadhu from Vrindavan, just wearing a kopin, went to Jaipur and defeated all those big pandits, and he convinced them, and the deity of Radha was again re-established by him next to Govinda, because that the king had taken it under the pressure of the pandits. So he re-established that. Syamasundar is there. It is said that this deity is self-manifest, but this is what is claimed there. The only deity in Vrindavan manifests from the heart of Radharani. But I never heard all Srila Gurudev say like that. Say that he was actually installed and worshipped by Baladev Vidyabhushan. And then there is the Bhajan Kuti and Samadhi of Shyamananda. Just if you go down, it's like a cave. You have to go down, not hurt your head. And you wonder how those sadhus, they were capable to just immerse themselves in bhajan like that, completely oblivious of any comfort. It's like a dungeon, practically speaking. It's underground, you can hardly breathe there. But it's cool. Yeah, but it must have been cool. It's cool. So maybe in the summer months it was appreciated to be there. Then from there, from Radha Syamasundar, then we proceed to, we retrace our steps. Yeah, we're not going to go all around Lord Bazaar, right? We retrace our steps, pass in front of Radha-Damodara on our left, then further down on the way to Jamuna, there was he said just demolished it. It was a big, Radha-Mandal, circular temple, very beautiful. And I went a few days ago there, and they completely razed it to the ground. I don't know what they would construct instead. So you go to Jamunaji, and then on the right, just very short distance, you come to Srngara-vata. No, I can only chew the remnants of Sripad Triandi Maharaj, because he has spoken already extensively on Srngara-vata. So I will just retrace a little bit the story. We know that during the Ras Lila, each gopi felt so much honored and a little proud even that I am the most fortunate girl in the universe because Krishna is dancing with me alone. No, Krishna has no rival in any dimension, but to speak in the dimension of love. I heard that every woman, every girl wishes to be one day, the queen of the evening, the queen of the party. So who can satisfy that desire is an unlimited woman, only Krishna. So Krishna did that by dancing at the speed of lightning between each gopi. He made each of them feel that I am the only one Krishna is dancing with. So naturally she felt like so elated, and it gave a little sobhagyaman, this mood of I am so fortunate, a little pride. And we know that Krishna doesn't like, and I mentioned that the other day, any tinge of pride in his devotees, so immediately he does something to put it down. And Srimati Radhika, when she saw, oh, my Syamasundar is saying that I'm his most beloved, but I see that he's treating every girl just like he treats me. What is that? So she went in a huff, became Manini Radha. She left. So in some stories, it is said, Gurudev would take us there to that very beautiful sacred place across the Jamuna. She went to Mansarovar. When she saw Krishna is dancing with everyone and treating everyone equal to me, where he claims, I'm his only beloved, then she went to Mansarovar. And there, she felt, why I'm here? I could be with him. Why did I leave him? And in great separation, she cried, and those tears formed that beautiful lake of Mansarovar. Yes. And then, in some leelas, because Sriraji Maharaj was saying, we Westerners try to put everything in a timeline. In some leelas, because Ras Leela is lasting so long, we hear one day of Brahma. So there's plenty of time to do a lot of variants. She went to Srngara-vata. First, the gopis, as soon as they realized that, first they didn't realize that Radha was gone. They just realized suddenly, Krishna realized suddenly, Radha is gone. And that took, you could say, the wind out of his rasa sails. He had no more impetus. If you remember in Satagopi Bhajan, Krishna says, Tu vina kaha ras. Without you, where's the question of ras? Tu mi lage more vrajavas. I only live in Vrindavan for you. So if you're not there, there's no interest. No. We know that Srimati Radhika, she can assume the moods of all the different kinds of heroines. That's her speciality. Madanakya Bhavati. She has this particularity. She can assume the mood of every gopi, as we heard from Pujapad Sriraji Maharaj. She manifests all the gopis. We Kanishta Adhikaris, I'm speaking for myself, whenever we do something and we ask, oh, who did that? We say, oh, I did it. We have some pride. But Radhika, she feels so humble. Her nature is so humble. She's saying, oh, can I please him? I can't please him alone. Therefore, she expands from her body, Kaya Vyuha's expansion of herself, into unlimited gopis with all different moods, all the varieties, the whole gamut of feminine attitude to please Krishna, right? So when Krishna saw that she's gone, there was, even though all the other gopis were there, and we're speaking the other day, 3 billion or 30 billion, 300 billion. I don't know if it is Oriental exaggeration or if it's unlimited number of gopis, and still Krishna felt that everything is gone. There's no more taste. So he went looking for her. And then after some time, they realized, oh, Krishna is gone. Radha is gone. So they were looking, and then suddenly they found, oh, there's one. This is a footstep of Krishna, then know his footsteps, and the footstep of another girl. So Gurudev would tell us that the gopis which are in the group of Srimati Radhika, immediately they recognize, oh, that's all Swaminis, because they're accustomed to see the marks on the lotus feet, massaging and serving the lotus feet. The other gopis didn't know who it was. But then they said this famous verse that Maharaj quoted, Aradhya, Ananya Radhika Nuna. this particular gopi must have satisfied the Lord Bhagavan more than anyone else, and therefore Krishna. They're not thinking Bhagavan, Krishna is Bhagavan. She must have worshipped the Supreme Lord Narayan and pleased him, and as a result, Krishna has taken her. So they followed, and then suddenly they saw, oh, here, Krishna must have decorated her hair, because we see there's some flowers on the ground, and then there is only the top part of his foot is pushed in the ground. So it means he was on his tiptoe catching some flowers to decorate her hair. And that is this place, Srngara-vata. That tree is there, Srngara-vata. And there's this very beautiful painting of Krishna then decorating the hair of Srimati Radhika. In that she was there in a mood of Manini, and Krishna, just to pacify her, just decorated her hair very beautifully himself. There's some very beautiful painting. She's looking in a mirror, and in the mirror she sees Krishna behind her with arranging her hair in a very wonderful way. So then she was thinking, because Radhika, Karuna Bharadra, she's so merciful. She was thinking, all my girlfriends, all the gopis, they also left everything for Krishna. But here I am alone enjoying with him. What about them? They also have the right to enjoy. So she pretended to be tired and said, oh, Krishna, I cannot make one step further. You'll have to carry me. And Krishna was thinking, yes, but I danced with them because she asked me. One day, Srimati Radhika asked Krishna, I would like to see you dancing with an unlimited number of gopis. And Krishna only lives not to satisfy Radhika, just like she lives only to satisfy him. So when she expressed that desire, he thought, I will have to arrange. And immediately Yogamaya made the arrangement. And this is, Raslila actually is born from the desire of Radhika, not the desire of Krishna to dance with so many girls, the desire of Radhika that he dances with so many girls for his pleasure. Remember, in our book, in our dictionary, there's only one word, or to satisfy Krishna. So everything she does, including the man, like we heard before from Sridhar Maharaj, even a man, when she becomes sulky, which is not so pleasant, she does that just to increase his appetite, his eagerness to approach her. So when he was thinking, I have only done this ras to satisfy her. Now, if they come, they're going to be upset. I left, she left, I left along with her. So we won't be able to enjoy neither the two of us, neither with the whole group. So better I leave. And he said, oh, okay. He crouched down, go on my shoulder. And then when she wanted to go on his shoulder, he immediately disappeared. And then she felt so miserable. Actually, in Prema Samput, Gurudev explained that Krishna actually did that to show that you may think that you are so exalted, your prem is so high, but let me show you that whether in meeting or in separation, Srimati Radhika, she's a crown jewel. Astasaki Shiromani, she's a crown jewel of all the heroines. Her love, whether in separation or in union, is the highest of all. And this way, also, he managed to reconcile all the opposing group, because when they saw by female friendship or sisterhood, I would say, by sisterhood, they felt, oh, she's so miserable. And ladies have soft hearts when they saw, oh, Radhika, she's suffering so much in separation from Krishna. Whether Chandravali's group or anyone, Paksha, Vipaksha, Tatasla, Surit, they all gathered around her to solace her. And in this way, her love was the most glorified. Let's remember that the only purpose of Krishna is to glorify her love and to fulfill Krishna's desire. Or acharyas have done that. If you take Brihad Bhagavatamrita, for instance, in two just amazing stories, what is going on? Under the pretext of telling like a whole, you could say cosmic journey or Narada going from planet to planet, the ultimate result is what? To glorify the love of the gopis, and ultimately it's Radhika's love. Whether the story with Gopakumar, the story with Narada, the same purpose is there. Ultimately, we are taken from devotee to devotee, coming from the bank of Triveni in the Prayag, where the Brahmin worship Shalagram. Narada, if you remember, comes, oh, you must be the most fortunate. No, I'm not. He sends him to one king in South India. We send him to Puri, we send him to Brahma, we send him to Indra, we send him to Hanuman. Hanuman sent him to Shiv, Shiv sent him to the Pandavas to the Yadus to Uddhav, and Uddhav starts to glorify the gopis. So the whole purpose is to establish Gopi Prem as a zenith of love. Now Krishna told the gopis, Naparayeham, I can never repay my debt towards you. Gurudev would say, no, there was never any devotees like you. There is not, there will never be devotees like you. No, Nabhuva Nabhavishyati. There were not and there will not be. This standard of love that you've done, I don't have the currency. Krishna told the gopis, I don't have the currency to pay back. Naparayeham. No, your love is, no, your mood is ekantik. No. And your love is ekanishta, and my love is bahunishta. Krishna tells the gopis in Vrindavan, in Braj, here. What does he say? I cannot even forget a new devotee in the material world. But you have only me in your mind. You just shun, you did the impossible. Those Griya Shrinkala, this Aryapata, which is impossible to break for a woman, especially in Vedic times. No, the gopis are not thinking, oh, we are the gopis of Braj, we can leave and we come back. No, they know. If I cross the threshold of this door, I'm finished. I'm considered a fallen woman, an adulterous woman, a prostitute. I can never come back. This is what they're thinking. But for Krishna, forget it. They don't hesitate one moment. They hear him, like Srngara-vata Maharaj so beautifully explained the other day. I cannot live without you. That's what he's pouring the nectar of his heart to the whole of the flute when he's playing the flute, calling them Esho, Esho, Radha, Esho, Esho, Lalita. Each one he hears her name, calling him, I cannot live without you. Please, don't leave me alone in the forest, in the dead of night. I'm dying without you. So without consideration at all for their own welfare or their future, they just run, only thinking about him. Maharaj was explaining, even they don't even see each other. They're completely focused on him. Therefore Krishna says, my love is divided into so many people, but your love is ekanishta, mine is bahunishta. I don't have that kind of currency to pay back your debt. So Srila Govardhan used to say that actually Krishna came back as Mahaprabhu. And as Mahaprabhu, what is he doing? He's distributing Manjari Bhav to pay back his debt, because Krishna doesn't like to remain indebted. So he's canvassing conditioned souls like us to, according to our Swarup, of course, bring us to the lotus feet of Radhika to serve her, to pay back his debt. That was the Katha of Srila Govardhan Maharaj. So in Srngara-vata, Krishna was arranging that air, and then it disappeared. She felt completely alone. They came, they all sympathized with her, and then they started to sing this very beautiful Gopi Gita in Krishna's separation. And then their love is so overwhelming that after some time Krishna just could not hide himself anymore. So again he appeared, and he took them next to the Jamuna and showed them some sandbank. He said, you think you can do one Alisaka, one female? Alisaka is a woman circular dance. You find that in all the culture. You think you can do? And 3 billion gopis were dancing on a small sandbank on the Jamuna. And then Gurudev was telling in such a charming, beautiful way how after some time they made a very nice soft bed or seat with all their veils. And Krishna sat there, and then they had these beautiful talks, at the end of which he says, I'm sorry, Naparayeham. Even if I lived as long as Lord Brahma, I could not pay back my debt to you. And also Srngara-vata is sometimes called Nityananda-vata, because when Lord Nityananda was traveling to Vrindavan, he came here and sat. And it is said that when he was there, his mood as Lord Balaram was coming very strongly. And then he started to remember himself as Lord Balaram, and immediately he started to say, but where's my Kanaya? Where's my younger brother? And he was crying, embracing the animals, the cows. Where's my Kanaya? And then, if I'm not mistaken, Gurudev said it's in this very place that suddenly he heard an aerial voice which said, oh, you're Kanaya now, has become Gora Sundar and is in Navadvip. He's starting his Sankirtan movement waiting for you. And then Nityananda from that place left and went all the way. So that tree is called Srngara-vata because there is this big banyan under which Krishna decorated Srimati Radhika's here, but under which also Lord Nityananda sat. And therefore there are those two beautiful deities of Go-Nitai in that temple. And also those very amazing Jagannath deities with very funny faces, like not usual Jagannath faces. So that is something about Srngara-vata. If we go out of Srngara-vata after taking the dust of the place on our face, on our head, to purify our heart and pray that those pastimes may manifest one day in our heart, then we go a little further and we go to Jhadu-mandal, maybe 100, 200 meters, very, very near. Now they have a big building with a big peacock feather sculpted in front of the facade. So Jhadu-mandal, Jhadu means to sweep. So we know that Jiva Goswami, he was sent to Vrindavan. I think Lord Nityananda told him, go to Vrindavan, which is a place that Krishna has given to your family. This is your inheritance. And as Vekanas Maharaj just told before, at that time, Seva-kunja was the entire area. There was not all those trees and everything. They were living under trees, right? Going from night to night, night to night. Gurudev said, some people think they go from tree to tree, not to become attached. But actually, no. They were going from tree to tree to spend the night under the tree, understanding those trees are kalpa-vriksha, desire trees. They witnessed all the wonderful pastimes of Radha Krishna. So they would sleep under the tree, and before going to sleep for a little time, they were sleeping an hour or something, praying to the tree, please let those pastimes that you witnessed come in my heart. That is the purpose. Gurudev said that's why they were sleeping under a different tree, not to get attached. Not to get attached. They were already completely detached. They left all their high position. Tucha, Mandalapati, in Sad Goswami Astakam, they left the position of high-class personal secretary and prime minister of the Nawab Hussain Shah, earning like fortune. I mean, we know that when they retired, they had 3 boats full of gold. I mean, they were like millionaires, probably by today's standard. So they didn't need to become unattached. They were already unattached, but they wanted those pastimes to come in their heart. And then we sing, that, Shad Goswami, Prache Kaulevas, Radha Krishna, Nitila Korila Prakash. They stayed in Vrindavan and manifested all those leelas of the divine couple by seeing them in their divine eye, and by the grace of those trees and those kunds and everything. And that's why Gurudev was taking us all over the place, saying, bow down in the dust of every place, in front of every tree, at every kund, every temple, every shrine, praying so that those pastimes come in one day in your heart. So Shyamananda was one of the Siksha disciples of Jiva Goswami, along with Narottam Thakur and Srinivas Acharya. Actually, Jiva Goswami gave them those titles, Thakur and Acharya. So Jiva Goswami, Shyamananda was coming from Bengal. His original name was Dukha Krishnadas, and he was the disciple of Hridaya Chaitanya. So he was sent to Vrindavan to study under Jiva Goswami. So one day, Jiva Goswami told him, as a seva, you should sweep this area of Seva-kunja. So as he was sweeping, crying in lamentation, suddenly something shiny caught his attention, and he picked it up. It was a beautiful nupur, beautiful ankle bell. So he saw it. Immediately he had some understanding that this is not ordinary ankle bell. So he reported it to Jiva Goswami, who told him, whoever comes to ask for it, say that you only will give it to the owner. So, very good. He kept it with himself probably tied in a corner of his cloth, and he was sweeping again, and then suddenly two beautiful young Kishoris came. He said, Baba, have you found some ankle bell there? No, or Saki has lost it. And then he said, yes, I have found. oh, just give it. It's all Saki's. And he says, no, I will only give it to her. Oh, what kind of Baba are you? You're a brahmachari and you want to deal with some girl like that? Oh, but my Gurudev has said that I should only give it to her, to whom it belongs. So one of them tied, a cloth, around his head, like a veil around his head, but not too tight, and then guided him to a place where Srimati Radhika herself, because that was her Nupur, was sitting. And then out of mercy, Lalita Saki just gave a little push, saying, okay, not tie it to her feet. And then because she had loosened a little bit the veil, he could see from under the lotus feet of Radhika. And imagine the emotion he had when he tied personally the ankle bell around Thakurani's lotus feet. And she was very pleased with him. And it is said that some people say Lalita, some people say Radhika herself. With the ankle belt, she made a mark on his forehead. And it became like a new kind of tilak. And then because she was very pleased, she called him, oh, from now on, your name will be Shyamananda. No, I am Shyama and you please me, so you are Shyamananda. Now the news in India, they travel very fast. Before long, back in Bengal, Tukhi Krishnadas is hearing, oh, my disciple has a new name and a new tilak. So he personally came all the way, walking like everyone had to do it in those days, coming quite upset. And then he said, what is that? Well, you have a new name and a new tilak. And he pleaded, but Gurudev, he had a stick. He wanted to beat him. But Gurudev, this is not, okay. Let's see. Is really this tilak is not an invention of yours? Let us see, put it to test. Put on the tilak, and then I'll wash it. And if the tilak comes back, then I'll know that this is real. So he put on this tilak, 12 parts. His Gurudev just washed it, and lo and wonder, the tilak immediately came back shiny. So at that time he agreed, oh, all right. So please, you stay here and you do bhajan. I'm actually very pleased. I was thinking you got reinitiated and you changed your tilak, you became an upstart. No, actually, I understand you got mercy. And he was very, very pleased with it. So some people say that Tukhi Krishnadas, his guru, Hridaya Chaitanya, was in Sakiras, but Shyamananda himself was in Madudaras. So some people say, oh, yes, you hear sometimes criticism because especially Westerners have the tendency to measure everything. Say, oh, his guru was only in Sakiras. But what kind of guru he was? Hridaya Chaitanya. Why he was called Hridaya Chaitanya? Because during one festival that he had arranged, his guru went for some errands and disappeared for a few days. Now the time was coming to make a big festival, but the guru was not there. So as a disciple, he organized everything, and then he started the festival. Gurudev is not there. In the middle of the festival, Guru is coming, quite angry. And chastising Guridas Pandit, chastising him. But the kirtan which was sung was so sweet that Gaunitai appeared. But when they saw Guridas coming with a stick, they jumped. Where did they jump? They jumped in the heart of that devotee. Therefore, he was called Hridaya Chaitanya. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu hid himself and Nityananda in his heart. So he was not any ordinary devotee. So those who say, oh, he was only in Sakiras. Yeah, Sakiras, but Mahaprabhu himself went into his heart to hide. So who can say anything? So this is the pastime with Shyamananda Prabhu and this special Nupur. Also in Jhadu-mandal, there's another story. There was an old lady who was grinding with a big grinding stone. She was grinding wheat. That's how she earned a living. People would come with the grain and she would grind. And sometimes she would do it very early in the morning. And then we know that quite early, any noise just become amplified. So a wind was making it sound like that. But she was a great devotee. So one morning she was doing like that, and then just suddenly a very beautiful boy appeared, and he put his foot on the wheel and said, Maya, I cannot sleep. why are you doing this so early? No, this song that keeps me from sleeping. No, can't you do it at some, but this is my way of income. No, don't do that anymore. But no, Lala, how if I don't do that, how I'll earn my living? So I'll leave my footprint there and people will come and they'll give you donation. You don't have to work anymore. But please stop doing this from early morning. So when the morning came, the light came, she saw, oh yes, there was a footprint of that beautiful boy was, of course, none other than Syamasundar. Imprinted in the rock, his foot melted the rock. Oh, Yashodhari, she supplies everything. We have the image here with the crying stone. And you see people come and put donations. So Krishna's word is never in vain. Thank you, Tarun Krishna Prabhu, to supply the material I want to see. So from that time, people gave sufficient donation that she could earn her living without disturbing Krishna in the morning with a grr, grr sound. So this is some of the beautiful places of pastime that Gurudev would take us to, and he would feed us with so much nectar. Gurudev has so much faith, he would tell us, I have so much faith because I know that one time in Dwarka, Narada Muni was speaking about Braj, and Krishna became so overwhelmed that he fainted. And when he woke up, Narada Muni felt very embarrassed. Oh my Lord, I've committed an offense, please forgive me. Krishna said, not at all. I'm very pleased with you. No, you reminded me of my Braj pastime. Actually, I want to give you a blessing. Oh, what do you want? And Narada Muni, because he's paradukkha dukhi, he's pure Vaishnava, always concerned about others, not about himself, he said, oh, grant me this boon that anyone who comes to your places of pastime, bhajan stali, rasa stali, and hears a harikatha of what happened in that place, during your lila in Vrindavan, that person will get praying. So Krishna said, Tatastu, let it be so. He gave that blessing, and Gurudev said, I have complete faith in Narada, that Narada will never cheat us. And therefore, I am taking you on parikram to all those holy places so that you will develop Krishna prema. I remember Gurudev saying, you Western people, you live in the heavenly planets. The women in your country are more beautiful than the apsaras. So please, my dear demigods and dear demigoddesses, forget about your opulence and join us poor Indians for 1 month in India. And let us go together in all those places and reap the benefit of the blessing that Krishna gave to Narada Muni. Go Premanande. Hari Hari Go. Vansha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. I'm trying to unmute myself. I think that's
Very well. Thank you so much, Maharaj. You managed to cover so many beautiful topics in such a short time. And I can also see Shripad Tridandi Maharaj coming back on camera. I wondered if you wanted to add something. We still have a tiny bit of time. We can finish early, but if you wanted to add something.
Just want to express my gratitude for beautiful katha that Shuddha Maharaj has given. And also Vaikanis Maharaj, he gave wonderful, wonderful description of Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. And as Sripad Vaikanis Maharaj was saying, that Gurudev told us that this whole area we've been today, it's all Seva-kunja. This is what also Shuddha Maharaj was saying. So that whole mood comes out by these divine pastimes that we hear. Without the Harikatha, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati, he said, this is not a geographical exercise to go to all these places. Unless you hear the Harikatha of those places in tradition of our Guru Varga, then you won't get the full benefit, you won't reap it. So somehow or other, we're very fortunate to hear Shuddha Maharaj and Vaikanis Maharaj today speak so many of these beautiful divine topics. And it's a very small walking parikrama. We actually leave just after breakfast sometimes. I can remember sitting with you, having an apple in the corner there. And then we would circumambulate, be back for lunch. So it's a reasonably short parikrama today, but most potent and saturated with the moods of Sri Radhika and the gopis, and so many divine topics. But I think we've covered a lot today. So I'll leave it there, Tarun. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you to you as well, Maharaj, for sharing as well. And thank you for your dedication. Is Mahabodhi Prabhu putting his hand up? Or maybe not. Anyway, thank you so much to all of the Maharajas who spoke today and who have been speaking and are continuing to share Katha throughout the rest of the month. Before we hand over to Taruni Didi from Wales, residing in Bolivia, I just want to announce tomorrow's program. We're going to Vrindavan with Sripad Tridandi Maharaj and maybe as well Sripad Vaikanas Maharaj. It's not in the schedule, but I believe that Yashodhari mentioned.
We'll speak. Mahabodhi has a question.
Oh, okay. I will unmute him. So we're going to Balvan tomorrow, and it may be a shorter session tomorrow. Mahabodhi Prabhu.
Sorry about Dandavat Pranams, everyone. This is not really a question. This is a godbrother and an appreciation of my godbrothers, both Chiksha and Diksha together. I think so far we've been listening. I'm so happy. I know Srila Gurudev told me, because I'm so unqualified, not worried about all the Sanskrit and all the shlokas and stuff, but just try to capture the bhavas. And I felt like we're so fortunate listeners here to have heard all three speakers, the bhavas that came out with those descriptions. It was hard just sitting. And, I had and I had Bhumi Pati here also. And so I just went in very much appreciation. Thank you, not only for the organizers, but Srinandi Maharaj, Sudhidvaiti Maharaj, Vaikanesh Maharaj. All these topics were ringing through. It was hard just to sit and listen because it was melting the heart. So thank you very much from this lowly person for the appreciation and during this Kartik month, giving us the opportunity to hear the bhavs flowing from your hearts, from Srila Gurudev and Srila Prabhupada. Haribol, Dandavat, thank you.
Dandavat, Mahabodhi. Dandavat, Dandavat, Dandavat.
Thank you so much for expressing that. Okay, we'll hand over to Taruni Didi now. I need to unmute you, yes.
Hi Krishna, Dandavat Pranams. Today, because we went to Imlitala, I thought to sing Shri Radha Vinod Bihari Tatvashtakam, which is page 272 in this book. And the first line is Radha Chinta Niveshana. Radha Chinta Niveshana. It's got a really beautiful translation. I don't think we've got time for that, but I do encourage devotees to read later on. Okay. Radha Chinta Niveshana Yasya Kantir Vilopita Shri Krishna Charanam Vande Radha Lingita Vigraha Sevya Sevoka Sambhogye Dvayo Vedha Bhuto Bhavet Vipralambe Tu Sarvasya Vedha Sadar Vivardhate Chilila Mitunam Tattvam Vedha Vedam Achintyakam Shakti Shakti Matorakyam Yuga Padvartate Sada Tattvamekam Param Vidya Lilaya Tavidastitam Gora Krishna Swayam Hirtat Ubhavubhayam Apnuta Sarve Varna Yatra Vishta Gora Kantir Vikashate Sarva Varnena Hinastu Krishna Varna Prakashate Sarvona Nirguna Tattvam Ekame Vijayati Ekam Sarvani Jagunai Gora Krishna Rasastu Nirgunai Shri Krishna Mitunam Brahma Tyaktva tu nirgunam hitat upasate mrisha vigya yata tu shavagatina Shri Vinodani Hariyo Radhaya Vivito Yada Tadaham Vandanam Kuryam Saraswati Prasadata Iti Tatvashtakam Nityam Yapate Shraddhayam Vita Krishna Tattvam Abhiyaya Gaurapade Pavamati Radha Chinta Niveshana Yasya Kantir Vilopita Shri Krishna Charanam Bande Radha Lingita Vigraham Shri Krishna Charanam Bande Radha Lingita Vigraham Jaya Radha Vinod Bihari Radha Vinod Bihari Radhe
Jaya Radha Vino Bihari, Radha Vino Bihari, Radhe.
Jaya Sachinandan Jaya Gaura Hari Jaya Sachinandan Jaya Gaura Hari
Jai Sachinandan Jaya, Gaura Hari Jaya, Sachinandan Jaya, Gaura Hari.
Jaya Guru Deva Jaya Guru Deva Jaya Guru Deva Jaya Guru Deva
Jai Guru Deva Jaya, Guru Deva Jaya, Guru Deva Jaya, Guru Deva.
Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada
Jai Prabhupada Jaya, Prabhupada Jaya, Prabhupada Jaya, Prabhupada.
Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol.
Nita Gora Haribol, 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 Nita Gora Haribol.
Jai Shkora Premanande, Hari Hari.
Haribol. Thank you for such a beautiful kirtan. So I just wanted to invite you to read the translation. Obviously, everyone who needs to go can go. You don't need my permission, of course, but I thought, why not just read the translation at the end, if you have time. Oh wait, you're muted again.
Okay, so there's the translation and then there's a little bit of purport on each verse. Okay, so I worship the lotus feet of that form of Shri Krishna who, by being absorbed in anxious thought of Srimati Radharani, has assumed her golden feature. Shri Krishna's immersion in separation from Srimati Radhika, who is in man, jealous anger, intensifies to such a point that he assumes her golden complexion. Alternately, Radha Lingita means he finally embraces Srimati Radhika after her man is broken. When the supreme object of loving service and the supreme loving servant merge in absolute love, how can any distinction be made between them? But when they are separated, all of their distinctions are continuously amplified. Shri Krishna is Savior, the supreme object of service, and Bhakta, the supreme transcendental enjoyer. And Srimati Radhika is Sevak, the supreme servant, and Bhogya, the supreme transcendental object of his enjoyment. In Sambhog, transcendental union, they are obeyed, non-different, However, in Vipralamba, transcendental separation, their bade or duality in the form of unique qualities is amplified more and more. The divine couple who internally engage in transcendental pastimes comprise an existential reality that is inconceivably differentiated and non-differentiated, for the supreme potency and the supreme possessor of potency are always one with each other. Bharatattva, the supreme existential reality, is never without his energy, Shakti. When Shakti, potency, and Shaktiman, the supreme source of all potency, have a single form, then Gauratattva, the reality of Sri Gaurachandra, is manifest. And when they are in two separate bodies, Lila Purushottam, Sri Krishna enjoys unlimited transcendental pastimes with Srimati Radhika. One should know that the absolute truth, which is one without a second, has divided his pastimes into two parts. Gaura is Krishna and Krishna is Gaura. Hence, both of them are factually the original form of Godhead. Although the Supreme Absolute Truth is one, he has two sets of pastimes. In one, he is Syamasundar Sri Krishna, and in the other, he is Sri Gaurasundar. Syamasundar is Gaurasundar, and Gaurasundar is Syamasundar. Thus, both of them are, in fact, Swayam Bhagavan, the original Supreme Personality of Godhead, from whom all other forms of God are manifest. Wherever all colors exist simultaneously, a golden hue is manifest. However, in the absence of all color, a black hue is manifest. According to natural science, when the entire visible light spectrum is present in naturally occurring proportions, as in the sun, a golden hue is manifest. In Sanskrit, this is called Gaurakanti. On the other hand, when all visible light is absent, a black hue is manifest. This is called Shamakanti. The Supreme Absolute Truth, which is one without a second, is both replete with all qualities and devoid of qualities. All transcendental qualities are eternally manifest in Sri Gaura, and the totality of transcendental humors, completely devoid of any mundane qualities, is manifest in Sri Krishna. The word Vana, complexion, in the previous verse, and the word Guna, quality, in this verse, establishes Sri Gauratattva to be as worshipful as Sri Krishna Tattva. The Supreme Absolute Truth is both Sagun, or possessed of all transcendental qualities, and Nirgun, or devoid of all material qualities. Those who give up this twofold form of Sri Krishna, the Supreme Absolute, and worship the undifferentiated, all-pervading, impersonal existence, are intelligently looking for rice in empty husks. Although someone may be learned in all scriptures, his endeavors to obtain mukti, impersonal liberation, by worshipping the impersonal Brahma will only amount to fruitless labor. In other words, such a person is not intelligent at all. By the mercy of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada, I worship Sri Pranod Bihari and Sri Mati Radhika as they meet with one another. By the mercy of Shri Guru, I am granted darshan, a transcendental vision of the divine couple, Shri Shri Radha-Damodara Bihari, at the time of their transcendental meeting. Whoever recites this ashtakam every day with great faith will fully comprehend Krishna Tattva and become immersed in meditation on the lotus feet of Sri Gaurasundar. Hare Krishna. So this is the ashtakam written by Param Gurudev Srila Bhakti Brighan Keshav Goswami Maharaj after he manifested the God and Krishna deity. Hare Krishna.
Great ball. Thank you so much. I just want to say, lastly, I just want to thank Madhuri Didi from Rhode Island, because everyone who's been involved so far, you've seen on the Zoom screen, except for those who have agreed to sing kirtan or speak and haven't done so yet. But Madhuri Didi has been helping a lot with the logistics, with organizing kirtaniers, with organizing our whole spreadsheet and everything like that. So I just want to say a big thank you to her, and speak her glories. And with that, I will end. Vancha kalpa tarubhyas cha kripa sindhu vaeva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Om Vrindai Tulasi Devai Priyai Keshavasya cha Krishna Bhakti Prada